winning team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the flagship of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Screen set up, Flag down the lane to the bucket, slam it home. Knipple wants to drive, can't. Off to Flag, three ball, left side is good. Top of the three-point line, over for Knipple. He's going to take the three over Bryant. It's good.
Boy, he's a shooter deluxe.
James bounce pass to Brown to Knipple. Open three is up and good. Third tray of the half for Knipple. Duke Blue Devils, they won't go back home tonight. They'll stay in Arizona for a few days, and they'll relish this one. Final score here at McHale. Duke 69, Arizona 55.
It's a massive sense of urgency. Let's call it what it is. You ain't going to see me out on the town tonight. I got work to do. Let's get to work.
Let's get to work. Back to work today and for the next 3 days in Paradise Island, as a matter of fact. Suburban Nassau, the Bahamas. It is the battle for Atlantis, and day one will see your Arizona Wildcats take on the Davidson Wildcats, home to one legend, Stef Curry, as the Wildcats try to end a two-game losing streak, the first of the Tommy Lloyd era. Welcome to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by my guys. We have got the captain, Kelvin Ifon, class of 1998 at the University of Arizona, J.W. Madden, basketball aficionado. Arizona and Davidson here today. Kickoff, I should say, tip-off coming up for you at 5:30. We've got you for the next 3 hours. Lots in store for you on this show. In fact, let's tell you what's coming up today on Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll take a look back at the 69-55 loss to Duke Friday night in front of a sold-out house that Fred Snowden built and Lute Olson fashioned. Also, we'll have our first look at the Davidson game. Brody Dryden is going to join us. A view from courtside. He's calling these three games on the radio for the Arizona Wildcats this weekend after making his football debut a few weeks back against the Houston Cougars. We will also chat with Tony Daniel from Arizona Athletics today. Tony Daniel will get you up to speed on everything that is happening around campus. We've got, in fact, an event happening right now. We'll update you. Arizona volleyball is playing as we speak. Arizona women's basketball is wrapping up their appearance over in Palm Springs. We'll keep you up to date on all of those events coming up this afternoon as well. Again, though, the Wildcats coming off a 69-55 loss to the Duke Blue Devils in a top 25 matchup. First time the Devils had come to town since 1991, and they were led by the two freshmen that you heard in those cuts, Cooper Flagg and Knipple. Tommy Lloyd with some instant analysis on what went wrong against the Blue Devils.
We had some good looks in the first half that just, from good shooters that just didn't go in. Then, we wanted to try to get the ball inside. They did a good job keeping it out. And then when we kind of got it in there, I think their size and length impacted that a little bit. So I thought Duke came out and played really physical and battled. And I was hoping that would be a little bit of an advantage for us, but it wasn't. We got to go back and probably a little bit of it is, one of the answers always is, do what we do a little bit better. And we got to fight a little bit more. And then, the next answer always has to be is don't be stubborn. If there's adjustments we need to make, let's figure those out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about how that was going to be a bigger team across the board from the guards to the big men that the Wildcats were going to face, and that length and that height really messed with the Wildcats' ability to try to play inside out on Friday night.
Yeah, Duke was a tough matchup for our guys. Defensively, they matched up with us very well. We talked in the pregame show about their length, about their guards, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", across the board. Then you got a 6'9" Cooper Flagg and a 7'2" guy in the middle. I mean, it was tough to score going to the basket. And as Coach said, when one of your best players is struggling, Caleb Love, things is tough on everybody. So I just think it's just one of those things that where you got to go and look at the tape, go and learn from it, and just get back in the gym.
Uncharted territory, J-Dub, with 2 straight losses for Tommy Lloyd.
Yeah, and like Kelvin said, and you said, it's really strength on strength. We talk about Duke's lineup, tallest team in all of America. That's going to be a big plus for this Wildcats team moving forward. Most of the teams they face, Kelvin, are not going to have the size of a, Crevis and at all. I mean, the U of A has a very large team as well. But when you ask, you're talking about guarding a 6'9" shooting guard, and then the size goes up from there. It was a big issue. I just think, as Coach Lloyd said, they didn't play very well of their style. Like, if you're being defended in the paint, you got to find cutters. You got to find a way to get moving towards the basket, not settle for outside shots. I just think Arizona, the shot selection in that game of McHale last Friday left a little bit to be desired. They got some things to work on, but, this is still a great roster, Kelvin. They still got, there's a very good chance that this team could, be up at the very top of the conference and be doing damage later in the year. They got a lot of pieces they got to work together and find connectivity, and they're going through that process right now.
Exactly, and I think, again, Caleb Love, I think it's all about Caleb Love. I mean, when you look up, when Caleb struggles, it automatically changes everybody else's game. Right, guys start trying to do things that they normally don't do. So I just feel like that, as Caleb settles into, trying to play right and trying to figure out how to play in between the catch and shoot, what the NBA guys want to see him do, right?
Yeah.
Play in between that and also driving and playmaking as well. I think once he gets that figured out a little bit, and it was a competition level too. Let's not forget that. But once he gets that figured out, I think it's going to be a little bit easier on everybody. I'm happy that he had these struggles early in the year, and we had these type of competition, because I just feel like that it's going to make everybody step up another level.
Jaden Bradley admitting that the Wildcats struggled to attack the paint against the Blue Devils.
Just getting inside. I feel like first half we did a great job. Crevis, Tobey getting inside and picking up fouls. He got in foul trouble early. They had to sit him there with small. We were able to, utilize that and play inside out. And then second half, we didn't really, execute that as much. So, we just got to do a better job.
KJ Lewis on what made Duke's defense so tough.
With the 5-ball screen, they would, hard hedge, make us get the ball out of our hands quick. 1 through 4, they would switch. And then anytime we got to switch and enter to the post, they would trap. I think we just got to do a better job moving out the ball, being stronger with the ball, and just, finding different ways to, be effective in the offense.
Yeah, Kelvin, the problem with that is, in the era of positionless basketball, in the past, you would look for those high screen and rolls to create a mismatch, right, where you maybe have a guy who can't move his feet as quick. That Duke team, like Mr. Lewis said right there, all 4 guys are switching on the perimeter other than their 7'2" center. So all 4 of those guys are switching any of those screens, can move their feet with any guard, and the hot hedges. Kelvin, what's the counter to that kind of thing? If they're playing overly aggressive, is that a backdoor situation or what?
Yeah, I think you got to set up some back doors. I also think you end up, going into where you're running set plays where you can get the matchups and where you can get the catch and shoots. I think when you're playing in a free-flowing type offense, guys are always thinking about what they're going to do. Right, they're always thinking about, trying to find the next open guy. When you run plays, it kind of, and I'm not saying that was a coach. They play their system, but when you run plays what you see a lot of these systems do, what you seen Duke do, what you see Davidson is going to do
Connecticut.
tonight. Yeah.
Connecticut's the most system-based program in the country.
Yeah,
That's all they do is run sets.
Right, and then they run their sets because that way you get the ball to guys in positions where they can, get easy shots in rhythm, against the matchups you want. And I think when you're playing teams like that, you almost have to run sets. I mean, unless your guys are just playing great and the ball is falling. If not, you almost have to run sets to just make sure you're on balance on defense at the end of the day and you're getting good shots.
Real quick, DK, like if you know each other, Kelvin, if you're talking about guys who are juniors and seniors who've been playing together 3-4 years in a flow offense, you already know tendencies, you already know where someone's going to go. But that overthinking when you're including new transfers, new players coming in, that thinking about where I should go on. I'm reading what my other 4 guys in the court are doing, and I'm making my decisions based on that. The set plays is just muscle memory. This is where I go during this part of this play. Reading and reacting like that, it's more difficult when you're incorporating new players. Maybe guys like Townsend come from more of an ISO-based system, aren't used to making those read and reactions. It just takes time to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, and I just want to add one thing to that. You're exactly right, because you had Tobey and Townsend in there, right? Now you take Tobey out. Now you got big Krivas. You have Krivas in there. Now they're trying to figure out how to get that high-low going live in game.
Yeah.
Live in game. They hadn't done that really. Those guys hadn't played much
against
together.
length, too. Trying to get that high-low against some length
as well. So, that's what we're talking about, trying to figure out everything, the spacing on the floor.
Well, we'll hear Tommy's kind of thoughts on that here shortly. The decision to start Mo Krivas in the game against Duke over Toby Awaka. But, Kelvin, you mentioned, obviously, the struggles with Caleb Love. He has missed 21 of his last 26 shots from the floor over the course of these 2 games against Wisconsin on the road and Duke at home. And he is just 1 for 15 from 3. He's taken just 4 free throws during that stretch. He's made 3, but he's only taken 4, which is not enough for Caleb when he is not shooting the ball well. Tommy Lloyd concerned about Caleb Love's recent struggles?
I love Caleb. Caleb's teammates love Caleb, and I'm not worried. Caleb's going to come out and he could play out of his mind the next 3 days. If he doesn't play out of his mind the next few days, we're going to keep going forward. So there's no concern on my end. If Caleb playing well is, what's going to stand between us and being a good team, I feel pretty good that ultimately he's going to play great. So I like that security of that feeling.
Well, and it's one of those things where, again, I think you when you're not shooting them, and you said it, a number of times, Kelvin, when you're not shooting the ball well, be it attack mode. And we need to see Caleb Love go into attack mode this week. More drives to the basket. Get yourself some easy looks. Like we mentioned on the show Monday, the only easy bucket it seemed like he got was that one in transition.
Right.
And that's another thing. I mean, obviously this is a team that wants to play in transition, and they weren't able to do that much against Duke or Wisconsin, because the Wisconsin game was just slowed down by the high number of fouls that were called on that particular Friday night in Madison, Wisconsin. Jaden Bradley reiterates it's too early to panic.
We're only 4 games in. It's a long season, so we can't let this discourage us. And you just got to come together tighter in these moments and really rely on our brothers, just playing hard and doing what Coach says. We had a great game plan. We just, on our end, we didn't execute. We let them score easy buckets. So, we're just going to continue to grow as a group.
And you guys mentioned also, obviously, the difference in the lineup. Well, we saw Mo Krivas get his first start. He's been battling back from injury. Toby Awaka went to the bench. It did not translate well in the fact that Krivas got into foul trouble early. Awaka struggled in that role now coming off the bench. Tommy Lloyd on his decision to make that move for the Duke game.
He's been practicing better, and we're kind of amping him up. And I might not have made the right decision today starting him. He's a starting level player, but he didn't play great. But Tobey's been playing so good, and Tobey not starting had nothing to do with him. It just has to me with trying to figure out how to play these 4 bigs, and I just think the combination of my overall overriding thought has been a Big Mo and Trey could be a good combo, and that Henry and Tobey could be a good combo. And then the game kind of got weird. I don't think there was sometimes these games happen. There's you have your first media time at under 16. But we had good refs today who were letting everybody play. And so, that the next thing you know, it goes to 13. We would have subbed 3 or 4 minutes earlier normally. And, you're kind of waiting. I didn't want to waste the timeout. So, I don't know. I mean, that's something I got to look at and really think about. Big Mo's a good player and he's going to have a great season, but, he's still coming back from the injury and I think this will be a great learning experience for him and, something for me to figure out.
What do you think he's seeing there when he believes maybe Mo and Trey are a better combo together?
I think what he sees there is that you have two guys that can score on the low post. I think that's just what you want. He wants to happen. You know what I mean? Because when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking both of those guys are low post dominant. Right? Am I wrong, J-Dub?
Yeah. No.
They both are low post dominant. Trey comes in as a guy that scored a lot of points in the post, and Creevers gets a lot of his work done around the post. I would almost think, and then Tobe, I can understand having Tobe in there because he's so big and having two big guys in there together, kind of bumping heads down there for rebounds and trying to make things happen. I can understand why he don't want both of those guys. But my issue was I just thought Tobe had been playing so well, and I didn't think that you should change it. Now, we don't know what's going on in practice, but as far as performance in game, he had played so well to that point that I thought that, why make that change? I understand going against Duke, they had the 7'2" guy. So it's a good idea, but both guys not playing well, as a coach, it had to bother you.
We already know that Coach Lloyd's going to go inside out. That's his style. His style, just same from up in Spokane. They like to establish the post play to collapse the defense, so that leads to more outside shooters having space. So clearly they're going to want Crevis, who is a much better option as a low post scorer than Tobe Awaka is. The issue we talked about quite extensively in the post game there was how did that affect Tobe, who came off the bench for the first time after starting those 4 games. He only played 12 minutes in that game, guys, and 3 rebounds. We've been seeing him, and against a very, very large Duke front line, had something to do with that. But like Kelvin said, not so much is Crevis ready, but was Tobe ready, Kelvin, to maybe step into that reserve role because it didn't seem like he was impactful in that game as he had been in the previous 4 games this year.
All right, I want to update you on your Goldberg and Osborne Injury Lawyers scoreboard. It has gone final over in Palm Springs, another loss for the Arizona women's basketball team as they fall to the California Golden Bears today by a score of 74-62. So it is 0-2 for the ladies at the Acrisure Classic, and we'll keep you up to date and get you some scoring on that. Jada Williams led the way with 18 points. Let's see how many turnovers
Only
they
13.
had today. Only 13 turnovers. Well, there's a positive.
But 40-24 in the glass. There's your game. 40-24 in the glass.
The former sisters from the Pac-12, California, and that's a team again. A couple years ago, they were at the bottom of the conference. So making some inroads there, California, as they try to work their way back up in their new conference, the ACC. So we'll hope to maybe get a chance to chat with Derek Palmer and see if we get some post-game reaction as well from Adia Barnes that we can share with you later. Again, the final score today from Palm Springs, 74-62, Cal beats Arizona. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. We're going to dive into our first look of today's game against the Davidson Wildcats. That'll be in our next segment, along with Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly, getting you set for a tip-off at 5:30 today. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
All the Who's down in Huson liked great deals a lot, but the Grinch who lived on top of Mount Dimon did not. But he went to O'Reilly for the holidays to trade in his sleigh, and the price he got from his trade grew 5 times that day. This holiday season, come to the dealership even a Grinch can love. We're on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check us out at O'Reilly.com. Because at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we prefer that you visit us live. See us this holiday season, and together, let's drive.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on two Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, a proud sponsor of Arizona Athletics since 1968. And this year, the Wildcats are driving into the Big 12. But we've been down this road before. From the WAC to the PAC, it's never been about the conference. It's always been about the Wildcats. And you can count on the Cats. And you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care for the very best deals on tires and award-winning auto care. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, we're here to get you there. Go Cats!
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering zero interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Cross court over to Bradley. Left corner goes to Lewis. He'll drive it into the paint, to the bucket. It's good. And to the line for one.
Advantage Arizona with K.J. Lewis being guarded by Con Knipple.
KJ Lewis.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
KJ Lewis and the Wildcats down in Paradise Island to be exact, for the battle for Atlantis. MTE, as they like to refer to these tournaments, multi-team tournaments. There are a bunch of schools down there. We'll go over the full bracket for you and give you as well a rundown of the games that are already been played today, a little bit later coming up in our pregame show. This game is played at the Imperial Arena, they call it, which is actually a ballroom. Ballroom basketball for the Arizona Wildcats. They've been here before, not the first time, well, the first time for this outfit, but not the first time for the program. As we've talked about before, last time they went down to Atlantis, it did not work out very well. The Wildcats lost all 3 games down there. Hopefully that is not the case this time around. But Tommy Lloyd on ballroom basketball.
You know, the first time you walk in, you're like, oh, that's different. And then the moment the ball goes up or the moment you start practice, honestly, you don't even notice. So, yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're saying. It feels like it's a little more compressed, but I haven't noticed one difference.
You ever play basketball in a ballroom, Kelvin?
I mean, anybody's bounced the basketball has played in some kind of small, low ceiling. Remember Greenfield's gym?
Yeah.
That was a low ceiling. I played every
the
game in there.
Salvation Army right here on Prince.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably like 24 feet. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's an adjustment. One thing that we always say is if the other team, long as the size of the roof don't change for the other team, we all fine. It's the same thing. They have to go through it. We have to go through it. Both teams got to adjust.
Yeah, the only issue is obviously a shooting background. You hear the same thing in those really voluminous like NCAA Final Four, you know, when they play in a football stadium or whatever, and it's like the background, Kelvin, that's a little different than you're used to. When you're standing on the court and the game's not happening, it's just another gym, right? The court's the same size, the hoop's the same size. But if you're coming off a screen and you've got an all-conference defender trailing you and about to try to block that shot and you go up, in that split-second moment, if you're used to a certain background or whatever, that can affect you. But if you get in early enough and have some shoot-arounds or whatever, it shouldn't be a big deal.
I mentioned last time that the Wildcats went down there. That was the 2017-18 season, so it would have been late November of 2017. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was right after all the
that was the
nonsense.
Trip. Well, that was more specifically, that was the trip to have Mr. Ayton be able to play in front of his family and friends. That's what that trip was.
Exactly. Wildcats lost to NC State 90-84, lost by 6 to SMU, and then got blown out by Purdue by 25 points. But you may also remember the Wildcats came back and won the Pac-12 regular season title and the Pac-12 tournament championship that year before, unfortunately, getting bounced in the first round by Buffalo.
Yeah, we remember.
Exactly. Tommy Lloyd, though, happy to be back in the Bahamas.
Obviously, you know, we've been going through it a little bit these last couple of weeks, but I think I'm at a point right now where I'm grateful for where we're at and grateful for the opportunity we have in front of us and just looking for an opportunity to respond, you know, with the risk that we know that, you know, the response might not be the one that you want. And, you know, we're a program that has a lot of pride. You know, we pride ourselves on, you know, working on our culture every day. So this is a great challenge for us right now.
Trey Townsend may not be making three-pointers at the rate that we saw in the exhibition season, but the career 50% shooter is shooting 54% from the floor so far, 13 of 24 through these first 4 games of the season. And Trey says the Wildcats are ready to lace it up for 3 straight days.
Every single time we get to, you know, lace up the shoes and play a basketball game is a new opportunity and an opportunity for us to prove ourselves. Obviously, you know, we've had a couple days off, but a couple great days to really hone in, as Coach was saying, and find our identities. You know, what better way to do it than, you know, play 3 great teams in 3 days in a row. This will test us more than a lot of challenges throughout the year, but having an opportunity like this early on, I know we're all excited for it. I know a lot of guys are just ready to show what they can do, but also show, you know, what this team is capable of. And I'm just, you know, crazy excited to get out there again.
This will be just the second all-time meeting between these two teams. The last came here in Tucson in late December of 2002, a game that the Arizona Wildcats won 95-69. Tommy Lloyd has a ton of respect for what the Davidson Wildcats bring to the table.
The McKillop clan's done an amazing job running that program. You know, a little known fact is that my son took an unofficial visit there out of high school. And, you know, and so, you know, I've known their coaches for a long time, and, you know, and, you know, Bob and I, you know, have always had a, shared a love of international basketball and recruiting internationally. So our paths have crossed, a few times over the years, and I just have the utmost respect for them and for how they do things, and that they're a program that's really done a great job, sticking to their core values and their identity. And maybe, at times where, maybe people thought they could commercialize things a little bit. It's been really cool that they haven't. I mean, Davidson today is, the Davidson, when Steph Curry was there, and which is just remarkable. And so ton of respect for them. We know the challenge we're up against tomorrow. I mean, I've played against some Davidson teams over the years, and and I know this that there's more, than meets the eye. And so our guys need to come out and respect that and understand that it's a program that has deeply ingrained values, that they can call on in big moments. And it's definitely a game that, playing Davidson tests your character. And that's nothing, but respect for them when I say that.
Matt McKillop has taken over for his dad, Bob, who coached there for over 30 years. He was the man at the helm during the Steph Curry years up there in the mountains of North Carolina. And now Matt is in his third season. Again, this is a program that Steph put on the map. They were maybe a shot away from getting to the Elite Eight.
That was a great run
that they went on that run.
There's there's some great teams, Kelvin, that you remember, the undefeated UNLV teams, the Razorbacks, some of those teams from back in the day when we were in college. But that run by Steph and Davidson was one of the most memorable, just because of there's no reason for them to be there, and one singular talent who just makes all the gravity on the court come to them. That's what that run was. Davidson was all Steph all the time and open shooters.
They kind of remind me of the same Marys out here on the West Coast. The same type of style, recruiting foreign players or whatnot, and a coach that's been around a long time.
And when you talk about, obviously, that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. When you have a dynamic player like a Steph Curry who can take a mid-major program, and we've seen it done a number of times. Davidson's not the only program where that's happened, but they're one of those teams that is in that conversation about Cinderella teams that have been able to go deep into the postseason on the back of a star player. You can think, you can talk about Bryce Drew up the street in GCU and what he was able to do for Valparaiso in college. There's a number of those.
I think we beat. Remember we beat Valparaiso in Phoenix?
Yeah.
So was that his senior year, maybe? Yeah. We knocked him out. We sent him on home.
Kelvin never forgets, man. He's got the memories for sure. He's got those memories.
We sent him on home
for sure. All right. Obviously, it's an MTE, multi-team event, which means you're going to play basketball for 3 straight days, kind of like what they've been doing over at Maui and some of these other places. And we're going to dive in a little bit later in the show. There's some different type of tournaments that are starting to materialize in this area of NIL, and we'll get into that as well as we go along here to 5 o'clock. But is Tommy going to have to manage minutes over the course of these next 3 days?
Hey, I just want to find a way to get a W the first night. I'll figure out how we manage it once the game starts and depending on how it's going. We're literally going to go media timeout to media timeout.
What was your MTE? Kelvin, did you guys go to Alaska or one of those places?
Yeah, we went to Alaska.
Maui?
We went to Alaska. We played in the Great Alaska Shootout.
Yeah.
Played against Oklahoma State in Big Country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Right. Yeah, Big Country.
Reeves.
Yeah, got one of my few buckets. Got my first bucket out there. And we had so much fun out there because, it never turned dark out there. It was light. And we seen the moose, man. People would be amazed how huge mooses, right? They walking down the street and everything. So we had a good time out there. We didn't win it, though.
Anchorage was always pretty kind. 87, 88, they won that tournament on the way to that first Final Four or whatever. So, yeah. It's always nice up there in Alaska. I was up there, too. When I was up there, too, it was in the summer. And it was like, I woke up one day at 2 a.m. Oh, man. Sun's out. Like, what's that all about?
Well, and you heard earlier Tommy just kind of talking about his decision to start Mo Krivas over Toby Awaka. And obviously they're still trying to figure out exactly, what these rotations are going to be as they move along. Jaden Bradley a little bit on that side of it.
It's going to be different, different team, different players. But, I love this group that we got, and I feel like we're going through a little rough patch right now, but we got everything it takes, the right support, the right, members on our staff, the right players to figure this thing out and, turn it around.
Yeah, again, it's uncharted territory for a Tommy Lloyd team. Back-to-back losses for the first time, losses in November for the first time. It's a place that they haven't been, which is not a bad thing, like you said, Kelvin. It's not a bad thing to experience something different. You want to win these games. You want to play well in these games. There's no question about that. 2 double-digit losses is certainly not what you want against Power 4 competition. But you'd rather learn these lessons now than later.
Yeah, you want to know the truth about your team. That's why you play these games, so you can actually see, how you look versus teams with as much, with a name as big as yours and with talent is just as good or better than yours. So you get beat up a little bit, but you get a chance to learn because now you get to see if you have the type of players that are going to make the corrections, right? So you had those couple games. Now, do I have players that are going to make the corrections and do the things that we need? And we've all seen Caleb Love. I'm with Coach. I trust Caleb because I've seen Caleb do it many a times. I mean, yes, there's been, games where things didn't go well, but that's been throughout the program. We won 1 national championship. You know what I mean? So let's just keep it real on that. So, but I understand where Coach is coming from, man. You just have to continue to have faith in players that have shown you, what they can do.
All right, we want to update you again. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers scoreboard. We've got another game happening here in Tucson. We mentioned that the U of A women's basketball team falls on the road 74-62 to California. Right now over at McHale Center, Arizona Volleyball playing their final home match of the season. They've got 2 to go in the regular season today, and then Friday over in Lubbock against Texas Tech. Right now that match is in the 4th set, and Arizona is leading 2-1 over the Central Florida Knights. Central Florida won the first set 26-24, but the Wildcats have bounced back and won the last 2 sets 25-19, 25-20. If they can win today, it would be a 6th consecutive win for the Wildcats. They need to essentially win out to have a chance to make the NCAA tournament. If they win out, that would allow them to finish with 7 straight wins, 9-9 in conference, 20 wins on the season, with 2 of those 20 wins coming at home over ranked Kansas and BYU. Is that going to be enough to get them in? You'd like to think a 7-game winning streak at the end of the season gets you maybe one of those last final spots, but we will not find out until Sunday. All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We're going to chat with Brody Dryden, who's calling the games on the Wildcats Radio Network for Arizona Sports Enterprises this weekend down in the Bahamas. We'll talk to Brody next. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE Eagle.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, a proud sponsor of Arizona Athletics since 1968. And this year, the Wildcats are driving into the Big 12. But we've been down this road before. From the WAC to the PAC, it's never been about the conference. It's always been about the Wildcats. And you can count on the Cats. And you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care for the very best deals on tires and award-winning auto care. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, we're here to get you there. Go Cats!
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's November and the weather is cooling down. Now is the time to have your furnace serviced to ensure that it's operating safe and efficient. We also have a $79 garbage disposal service. And check out our monthly plumbing specials on our website. Call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing for all your plumbing and heating needs at 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
All right, let's head back down to Paradise Island, in fact, who right now at the top of the famous water slide is one Brody Dryden. No, he's probably not at the top of the water slide at this particular moment. He'll be calling the game. Brody, did you go on that big, long, tall water slide?
Yeah, I sure did. It's called the Leap of Faith, and I took the leap of faith somehow. I can't lie, there were like 4 12-year-olds in front of me in line. You had to wait in line, and they all chickened out. And they were like 12 years old. They should have no sense of really anything, but they were smart enough to back out and were too scared. And that did not leave me with a very fun, fuzzy feeling going into it. But I conquered my fear, and I took the leap of faith. And I'm not going to lie, it hurt my back a little bit, like not seriously, but I'm a little bit sore. And but it was still fun. I'm glad it was like a 60-foot drop or something straight down. It was a lot of fun. I can't complain, being out here.
Did any of the players do that?
I didn't see any. I think I saw some assistant coaches actually not far before me, but I didn't catch if any players did the leap of faith.
All right, so Brody is on the broadcast for these 3 games here this week. He had his first football game a few weeks ago, the win over the Houston Cougars. We talked to you before the game, Brody, going in. So what were your feelings coming out about how that went for you?
Well, I mean, that was great. I had a ton of fun doing it, and I mean, it helped being able to call an Arizona win. And, after a 5-game losing streak, and, the team maybe not being necessarily in the best place, it seemed like they really fought and played, with a sense of accomplishment, really, had something to earn out there. And they finally got that win. And it was just so fun. I mean, such a good defensive performance. I got to call some really good plays from Genesis Smith, who's had a solid season and just maybe the best game of his career against Houston, being kind of involved on some great punt coverage, turnovers, tackles all over the field. It was great to see him. And it was a great experience. I'm super grateful to have called the U of A football game and then now being sent here on assignment in the Bahamas. It's a dream come true.
Well, we talked to your dad about it, but I want to know what Mom had to say, because moms they're the tough ones. They're usually the hard critics. Well, what was Mom's response?
No, she was supportive. She said I did a good job, and she was at the game and she brought a radio with her and said she was listening, and her and my sister and our family friend as well. They were listening on the radio during the game. And they don't do that for my dad for every game, but they did it for me, and I appreciated that. And they said I did a good job. Maybe she cut me some slack because it was the first, my first time doing a Wildcats football game. So I'm just thankful, And then she was nice about it.
Brody Dryden is our view from courtside today, and it is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years.
Brody, this is Kelvin. I listened to you, and your dad better watch out. Your dad, I could see y'all splitting the deal now. Y'all could be splitting the deal, the contract now, because, hey, man, you did a great job, man. I'm proud of you, man.
I appreciate it. I don't know if we're at that stage yet, but you know what? I appreciate the kind words, and that's the thing. I'm here to fill in whenever he needs me to, whether it's in Tucson or if he has to, force me and send me out to the Bahamas against my will. I guess I'll do it.
All right. Don't admit to any drinking anything with an umbrella in it, Brody. Okay. Don't admit to that.
That's the first thing I asked him.
All right, I won't admit it then.
First thing I asked him off air was, how much liquid coconut have you drank in the last 24 hours?
And what's the thing? Is it jerk chicken? Is that the big thing down there? I remember having, I think, Jamaican jerk chicken or something of that nature.
Yeah, I think what I had was a jerk rib.
Oh,
it was
jerk ribs. Okay.
Yeah, and that was delicious. I don't know if I think it's better than any southern style ribs I've had, and maybe it's because I'm on vacation, or I'm not on vacation. I'm on a business trip. It felt like I was on vacation when I was out of the country. But man, there's some good food out here, good eats.
Now, yep, there we go. Now you're down there with Ryan Hansen. He's going to be calling the color analysts on this week's broadcast. What advice has he given you about basketball?
Well, he's done a good job. One of my objectives going into this week, and it's something that I called a season of women's basketball for Arizona a few years ago, and one thing I never really got down or mastered was picking up what coaches are kind of instructing players to do and what they're doing in practice and shoot around and things like that, because I didn't play a high level of basketball, and trying to pick up on how coaches are talking to players. And that's one great thing about this role is you get to go to practice, you get to go to shoot around, you get to be around the team. And Ryan has done a really nice job of kind of explaining to me, what coach, because he's been ingrained with this team, forever. And he knows the lingo, the plays, what different players need, how coaches talk, and he's done a really good job of just kind of filling me in and telling me as the practices go along and the shoot-arounds or the shoot-around earlier today, kind of, telling me, hey, this was a struggle for Arizona against Duke, and they're really trying to focus on it in practice right now. And that's just been a cool learning experience, because even though I've sort of been around and seen that before, really kind of deciphering it is a whole nother language and something I'm trying to get better at, so we could give obviously the listeners some better insights during the broadcast.
And I saw you sitting courtside, obviously, for the Duke game. What were your takeaways? What did you see about the Wildcats' performance in some of the areas where they kind of struggled to get things going?
Yeah, I mean, I think Duke just did a really good job of containing Arizona's bigs. I mean, Mo Krivas getting his first start, and Tobe Awaka, Trey Townsend. Arizona's bigs were just really well contained by the Blue Devils. And I think that's going to be a big point of emphasis going into Davidson tonight is how can Mo Krivas be a little more productive with the basketball offensively. And, I mean, it seems like a good opportunity to do so. Also, Trey Townsend. I mean, we saw some really positive things from him early on in the exhibitions and then the earlier non-conference games. But I think we're just going to see a little bit more focus on the bigs because the Duke, I mean, that's the biggest team in the nation, and they're a really talented. They're a really talented team. I don't think it's any mistake that Arizona had a rough time in that category in Tucson, but I think things are being steered back in the right direction now.
We're chatting with Brody Dryden. He is the broadcaster for the Arizona men's basketball team this week down in the Bahamas. It is your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Brody, describe this venue for us and what the Wildcats are, this ballroom venue and what it actually looks like in a basketball format.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive because it's traditionally a ballroom at this, grand hotel at the Atlantis on Paradise Island. So there's some an interesting ceiling, some interesting decorations leading into it, and a ton of smaller ballrooms around it. But I mean, hey, it's big enough that they fit not only actual bleachers that you might think of in like a high school gym. They are like legit seats that, they're temporary and, but surrounding the court, it's no, low level event. This is something that's been going on for quite a few years. And the ceiling is lower than a traditional basketball arena. So I think that's one thing that the players might need to adjust to. They've already had the opportunity to practice in there and get some shoot around in. Earlier, and I'll tell you, I got done talking to head coach Tommy Lloyd not too long ago, and at shoot around earlier today, and I saw it myself as well. It was Jaden Bradley trying to throw a full court pass, and it hit the ceiling, and because it went a little bit too high. So, I mean, it was kind of a reminder, like, hey, this is a different venue. If you're going to throw like a long, high pass, maybe make it more of a bullet than, a high arcing pass that could potentially hit the ceiling or the Jumbotron or anything like that. So it's definitely unique. But honestly, from what I was expecting, knowing that it was going to be in a ballroom in the hotel, they've done a good job, and it's pretty impressive.
That's what shoot-arounds are for, to kind of get the intricacies of the building, to get the sight lines, and to learn little things like that. I saw that there was like some type of a lunch, maybe maybe it might have been yesterday. How many folks have made the trek down there from Tucson?
Oh, man, it was a good contingent of Arizona Wildcat fans here on Paradise Island. I don't know the exact numbers, but, I know Ryan Hansen, who's going to be my partner on the broadcast this week, has helped coordinate some of that. And I think we're going to see a lot of Cardinal Red, Navy Blue in the stands. And I mean, I got to give credit when you walk around this Atlantis hotel. It's covered in fans from all sorts of places, from West Virginia, Gonzaga, Indiana, Louisville. I mean, everyone's come out here, and I think, maybe just with it being a holiday week, Thanksgiving's tomorrow, a lot of people have some time off already. It's been a good opportunity to get out here and obviously watch their favorite teams, but also some great basketball. And even when, it might be Louisville, who wasn't favored against Indiana. We saw what happened earlier today with Louisville getting a great upset win over the Hoosiers. So a lot of fans, and I don't know how to put a number on it, but definitely Arizona's presence is definitely being felt in the Bahamas right now.
Well, so that well, depending obviously still on what happens with the Wildcats, they would have to lose then now in order to potentially see a matchup with former teammate Umar Balo. Do you know if there's been any interaction between the guys that were here last year and Umar on the island?
You know, I haven't seen it. It wouldn't surprise me if there was, because I've passed by Umar, I think 3 times over the past couple days. And I mean, you're walking through the lobby and to the stadium and back. And that's one nice thing. The stadium is attached to the hotel, so there's no bus ride or anything. You can just access it directly from the lobby and to your room and everything. So all the players, all the coaches, fans, everybody's kind of mixed in all in the same place. So I would be very surprised if he wasn't there. And let's not forget, he also was part of the Gonzaga program before he transferred to Arizona. They're here too. So he's got 2 of his former teams in this Battle for Atlantis tournament. And that's certainly a storyline that we'll keep an eye out for. Hopefully now that Indiana's lost, Arizona won't have that matchup, but storylines galore with Gonzaga. Well, I actually don't know. I was the overtime for Gonzaga, West Virginia just started before our call, so I don't know if that result has already come down yet, but we'll see.
What's your 3-point call? You got a 3-point call, Shazam or bang or anything like that? What you going to lay on the folks today?
Well, DK, it's a sponsored call.
That's
the
right.
Lexus of Tucson Charity 3.
So you will be hearing that hopefully a lot here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But no Shazam, nothing flashy as of yet. Maybe we'll let something develop as the week goes on.
Well, here you go. I'll give you one, Brody. I'll give you one. Caleb Love puts the keys in the Lexus Tucson Charity 3. There you go. You just got to make a play on the sponsorship right there.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. I might keep that in my back pocket. Thank you, Jack.
There you go.
Fellas, Zags fell to the West Virginia Mountaineers, 86-78 in overtime.
All right. Well, we may get our Big 12 matchup after all, as long as we win. Brody, have great calls this week. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Brody.
It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
All right, always great to have a chance to talk to Brody Dryden and get a chance to call his first Arizona men's basketball game this week.
Should we hear the end of that game that he called the other day one more time?
Yeah, let's do that.
Great game from Arizona.
Yeah, indeed. And Brian Jeffries, you've been Wally pipped, baby.
That was great, Lamont. Lamont, you've been Wally pipped, baby. I'm impressed that Lamont knew a little bit about Wally Pip there. I don't know if he's a baseball guy or not, but that's good stuff right there. All right, Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, 1 hour in the books, 2 more hours to go. Derek Palmer is going to join us. We'll get a post-mortem on Arizona women's basketball losing a pair of games to Vanderbilt in California at the Acrisure Classic. Much more straight ahead coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Tony Daniels will join us at the top of the last hour at 4. We'll talk about the Territorial Cup game coming up on Saturday here in Tucson at the stadium. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com. The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Are you facing plumbing problems and need a reliable solution? Whether it's a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or an upgrade to a tankless water heater, Rightway has you covered. And for a limited time only, we're offering 10% off your next repair or installation. Don't let plumbing issues ruin your day. Call Rightway at 520-276-2775. We'll get a plumber to your door. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for 2. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hour number 2 of the program as we get you set for the Wildcats and Davidson. Wildcats versus Wildcats today down in the Bahamas. Both teams wear red. Peter, do you know what station that overtime game is on? Do you have it over there?
The Gonzaga game's over.
Yeah. It's over.
It's final. Yeah, it's
Okay.
86-78 is the final.
Is there another game on before us? Or no? Do we know?
In progress, there are no top 25 games in progress right now.
All right. I'll have to figure out I don't even know what station our game is on today. All right. Let's talk some Arizona women's basketball. The ladies losing 2 games over in the Palm Springs area at the Acrisure Classic, or was it the Acrisure Holiday Invitational, or was it the Acrisure Invitational? Because they had like 3 different events going on over there over the course of the last 2 days and 2 more days, tomorrow and Friday. Let's bring in our guy, Derek Palmer, to figure it all out. Oh, okay. We don't have Derek yet. All right. Let us reconfigure, and we'll go ahead and give you some scores of what is happening around college basketball right now.
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, college basketball today. Games already having been played at what is known as the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis. Always got to get the sponsor in there, I guess. As you heard, this game is the game that's currently on tap. Providence and Oklahoma. That is the game that will feed into our bracket. So this is the first game of bracket B today. Providence and Oklahoma. Providence is 5-0. Oklahoma is 4-0 on the season. So a battle of unbeatens. Games earlier, and so it looks like if that game went to overtime, we're probably a little bit behind schedule there today, which means that the Wildcats game is likely not to start at 5:30, and that's what sometimes happens with these multi-team events when you're like the third or the fourth game down the line. You get some delays. So it looks like that our game is probably going to be somewhat delayed today in the Paradise Island. Let's give you the other 2 finals. It was West Virginia beating Gonzaga. The third-ranked Zags go down for the first time this season. West Virginia beats them by a score of 86-78. Javon Small had 31 points for the Mountaineers in that game. And the first game of the day went in favor of Louisville over Indiana. The 14th-ranked Hoosiers fall 89-61. That is the first loss of the season for Indiana. Umar in that game played 31 minutes, scored 11 rebounds. Scored 11 points and grabbed 6 rebounds.
Also,
on 5
shout
of 8
out to
shooting.
Tucker DeVries, who made 2 free throws, Kelvin, with 5 seconds left. The Zags tried to ice him, made those 2 free throws. That's what sent that game into overtime with 5 seconds to go.
There you go. All right, Arizona women's basketball falls 74-62 to our former sisters of the Pac-12, the California Golden Bears. Let's chat with the voice of Arizona women's basketball, the longtime voice of Arizona women's basketball. Derek Palmer joins us. And Derek, I guess the positive was that the ladies only turned the ball over 13 times today.
It's a step in the right direction.
What's been the issue there?
I really think it's just that they're so young, and it's easy to lose track of how they're replacing Esmeri Martinez and especially Helena Puello. I think if Puello was available during all of the turnover fests, that she's just so sure the basketball never would have happened, but she ran out of eligibility, of course. So it's kind of been forcing some talented players who don't have enough experience to really cope with all sorts of aggression that they've seen over the last 4 games to really learn how to hang on to the basketball and fly. But they've been facing some really hair-on-fire sorts of defenses that you could appreciate would make it tough on a lower classman to try to learn on the fly.
Obviously, Cal's a team that is really still starting to kind of build themselves back up. They kind of hit rock bottom in the Pac-12 a few years ago. How do they look different to you from the teams that you've seen over the course of the last few years?
They looked really good when Boya Cunningham wasn't out there. She had a family emergency, and with the Cats only really playing with one real post player, it just was too tough to try to keep enough bodies on Michelle Onya. So, I mean, not to take too much away from Cal, but frequently when a giant Michelle Onya is doing stuff like posting up Lauren Swan, posting up Jada Williams, she ought to go 11 for 14 or whatever she wound up doing.
Yeah, so that's a couple of games now in the last in this stretch in which they've now lost 3 of the last 4, in which they've had to play without a talented sophomore, Jada Williams, who was in concussion protocol against NAU, and now Brea Cunningham having to miss today due to a family situation. And when you talk about that lone big, that puts a lot of pressure on Isis Bay, who has been in that starting lineup. That's a little bit of a different role for Isis, having to be in the starting lineup versus coming off the bench. How do you think she's kind of adapted to that?
I think she's adapted fine. She's playing well within, what she is able to offer physically. I think that she was given a little bit of an unfair assignment by some fans, just expecting because she's a captain that all of a sudden she's going to be getting buckets all the time, And that was never really her game. It seems as if she's pretty comfortable barking orders defensively and trying to facilitate offensively. I can't even remember how many touches that she had today, but it wasn't very many. But she's always out setting screens and doing all the dirty work.
This is 2 games. Both these games down there, Derek, the other team went to the line a lot. Is that fouling on Arizona's part? Is that both Cal and Vanderbilt just being more aggressive?
Vanderbilt especially. The Cats, I think in large part because of how aggressive Vanderbilt was defensively, for about 3 quarters, just completely took him out of their rhythm on both sides. So they're getting a little bit sped up offensively, and then they come back on the defensive end, do something silly like reach or overplay somebody who's already beat them, foul them going over the back or something like that. It looked awfully youthful. I think the greater concern, especially against Vanderbilt, was that Arizona was turning Vandy over as regularly as it usually does anybody. It just wasn't until like the last 15 minutes of the game that they were able to turn them into points. And I'm not sure exactly what the diagnosis is for that. I tried to ask Coach Barnes before the ball game in our pregame talk, and I think I surprised her with the question. So it's something that I look forward to continuing to push because there's been times when the Cats aren't turning turnovers into points.
Yeah,
and it's a little bit peculiar at this point, especially with the way her teams have played in the past.
Lauren Swan's obviously been battling that shoulder situation, but she continues to go out there 22 minutes after kind of banging it yesterday. 4 for 10 from the field, but missed all 4 threes. Does it appear that's affecting her at all?
Well, I don't think so because since she's banged it up, she's gone on incredible heaters against UNLV and Grambling. So it seems like it gets banged up at a certain point in every game. It's just remarkable how that shoulder continues to be the landing point when she gets knocked down, and it happens in every game. But she doesn't. I mean, if it's bothering her, she can sure shake it off quickly when she sees the ball go down.
All right, at least a few days off for the ladies. You guys have played a lot of games in a short amount of time. Back at it early next week at McHale Center. Derek, be careful on that crazy drive back from California, man. Those truckers sometimes get a little nutty out there.
It's not the truckers. It's the people who refuse to accelerate by the truckers that are the problem. I want to go on the record. I'm glad that this is happening. If you're worried about what a truck's going to do, just speed up and go by it. It's easy.
There you go. Derek Palmer, ladies and gentlemen. Derek, we'll talk to you again down the road.
All righty.
Derek Palmer after the Wildcats fall 74-62 to the California Golden Bears at the Acrisure Classic. But I forgot to ask him which tournament we were playing in because there were so many there. 21 teams playing over there between the men's side and the women's side over the course of yesterday and today. GCU was over there. They played Stanford yesterday, and USC, both USC's men and women's teams. Juju Watkins, I believe they play tomorrow. They're going to be in one of the games over there. So a pretty big event of basketball happening. That was a much bigger stage of games than what the Wildcats had last year when they went over there for Thanksgiving and took on Michigan State. In fact, Vandy and Michigan State playing in the championship game on the women's side as we speak right now. Want to update you real quick, one more on your Goldberg and Osborne Injury Lawyers scoreboard. It has now gone final at McHale Center. Arizona beats Central Florida 3-1 in volleyball. The ladies have now won 6 matches in a row, and they'll have one more left, and that'll be at Texas Tech on Friday at noon. And we, again, 2.5 weeks ago, we talked about how we felt they needed to win out in order to get to the tournament, and they are one match away from accomplishing at least the winning out part and hopefully making it a very tough decision for the NCAA Volleyball Selection Committee when it comes to whether the Arizona Wildcats are in or out.
Still 44th.
Still 44th. Yeah, that we'll see what that. I don't know that that's going to change before Selection Day. Normally that comes out on Monday, the RPI. So I don't know if they'll update any of that before the brackets are announced on Sunday afternoon. But, yeah, it's not the best RPI, but enough to be on the bubble and enough to be in consideration. So we'll see how it all plays out. We'll let you hear. We had a chance to talk to Charita Stubbs. Maybe tomorrow we'll let you hear a little bit about what she had to say on the pregame show tomorrow, just about where the Cats stood going into this set of games that they had coming up. This is the new Big 12 where you sometimes play split weekends, where you play a home game and then you have to go and play a road game. They did it last week where they played at Colorado on Wednesday, came back and had to play here at home against Iowa State on Saturday. And this week it's the same thing, only it's Wednesday, Friday. They playing at home today. They go on the road. They'll leave tomorrow, and they'll play Friday at noon in Texas Tech to end the regular season. All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Appreciate Derek Palmer for joining us. We've got much more coming up here instead. I am told now that we will have Tony Daniel now at 3:20 instead of 4 o'clock. There's all kinds of crazy meetings going on over there. So we thought we were going to have to push him back, but he said that he will make it at 3:20. So we will talk to him next. Let's let you know also what else we've got coming up for you in this hour.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, so we'll talk to Tony Daniel of Arizona Athletics next, and then we'll give you your spotlight on a cat, Caleb Love, who has struggled the last 2 games. Best bets. This is how today's game looks on the board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. Arizona, a 15.5-point favorite. The over-under at 154.5, so we'll give you that as well. And don't forget our Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the Game. That is coming up tonight on the post-game show. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds, might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We will tell you the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the Game coming up on Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day post-game after Arizona and Davidson. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona pregame for you at the moment, along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden. My name is David Kelly. Glad you could be with us here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community Designed by Nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thama Autumn Nation.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's November and the weather is cooling down. Now is the time to have your furnace serviced to ensure that it's operating safe and efficient. We also have a $79 garbage disposal service. And check out our monthly plumbing specials on our website. Call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing for all your plumbing and heating needs at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Efon, and J.W. Madden.
And we're getting you set for Arizona basketball down in the Bahamas. Wildcats of Arizona, Wildcats of Davidson. The game ahead of this has just tipped off, so they look to be about maybe 15 minutes or so behind schedule right now. Oklahoma an early lead over Providence. So obviously
one overtime's worth of lateness.
Yeah, that's
about 15 minutes.
affect the schedule start time for your Arizona Wildcats. A lot still happening here in Tucson. I just mentioned we had the finale of the Arizona volleyball team over at McHale Center, and they won by a score of 3-1. That is now 6 straight wins. We're joined by Tony Daniel from Arizona Athletics. Tony, were you at the volleyball game today for the season finale? 6 straight wins. We had said a couple weeks ago that the Wildcats were probably going to have to win out in order to even have a shot at the NCAA tournament, and they are one victory away from doing just that.
Yeah, I was there. Had a great crowd, and they looked great again. 3-1 over UCF, and yeah, they're rolling. The Cats are hot, so they're getting hot at the right time, and that's when you want to be hot and hopefully get into this postseason play. So we'll fate to be decided, but one more left to get on the road, and then we'll see from there.
Tony, give us kind of a reset on everything that happened last week around the basketball game against Duke at the McHale Center. Obviously, you all had the sleepover with the Zona Zoo Thursday night. I saw some of the kids brought their own bedding and cots into the building, which I thought was kind of cool. What was kind of the final tally on how that went?
It was incredible. We had one student bring in an Xbox and hook it up to our concourse TV where they display the menus, in the at the concession stand. So the innovation was all around, and the students had a great time. Obviously, not the result we wanted on the court, but the fans were phenomenal. The whiteout looked great, and our students showed up in full force the night before and during the game. And we had about 400 or 500 people the night the sleep in, and then lined up for the remainder of that day on into the game. So it was a success overall, just overwhelmingly positive. And our campus partners and our police officers and everybody that helped us, pull this off, as well as our internal staff, we appreciate you and thank all of you. So, just really great overall.
Now, we had Desiree on last week. She credited you with that idea. How did you come up with that, the thought process on that and having an indoor sleepover for the kids?
Oh, boy, I don't know if that was an idea. Just overall, it's a team effort. When these things happen, we get in big meetings and group meetings, and things just start flying, and no ideas are bad, and we always just try to get to a yes. And how can we make it a great experience, not only for our current student athletes and coaches and fans, but, the students on campus as well. So that's where it came from. And once that idea got rolling, we tried to get to the best yes that we could. And that's where it lived. And, again, turnout was phenomenal, and hope this is something that we can not only do for Duke, but kind of can be somewhat of a tradition for us and continue on for big games and maybe all games in the future. Who knows?
Tony Daniel is joining us, Associate Athletics Director at the University of Arizona in his first season with the Wildcats. Big football game, obviously, coming up on Saturday, the 98th playing for the Territorial Cup. But what have you, as a new guy on the block, Tony, what have you learned about this fabulous rivalry we have here with the kids up north?
Yeah, all rivalries, right? They're phenomenal. Anytime you can be a part of one of the biggest rivalries in college sports, you relish that opportunity. I'm just excited to see Saturday. I actually was at the Territorial Cup game last year in Phoenix. And obviously we came out on the right side of that one. I was not a U of A employee at the time, but knew where my heart lied there. And but no, just excited overall. We've got very limited tickets remaining to this game, and so selling well. People are excited, and this is an opportunity to end the season on a high note. And got people on our team, T-Mac and Tyler Loop that are up for awards and looking to finish their seasons off well. So, I just think this is always fun to be a part of a rivalry, and the 98th version of this is going to be fun.
All right, I'm going to put you out there, Tony, because I remember you saying when we talked to you the first time around that your wife is from Scottsdale. Are they ASU people? Are they U of A people? What kind of family did you marry into there, Tony?
We are U of A people. How's that sound?
There we go.
We're all U of A people. We'll have the whole family down here in red and blue, and cheering on the Cats this weekend. So it's going to be good.
Outstanding. Tony Daniel joining us, Arizona Athletics Associate Athletics Director. It is the Territorial Cup game on Saturday. Now, I have not heard much about it. Are there still tickets available, Tony, or is it a sellout?
Yeah, very limited. We're probably looking at 1,000 tickets or less that are available right now. So, if you don't have them yet, Wildcat fans, I don't really care about the other fans as much. Those Wildcat fans, go ahead and get those tickets. We don't have very many left, and help us beat that school up north.
Now I hope. Now I don't know if you're familiar with what happened 2 years ago. There's a young man that plays for the Sun Devils, who very popular Tucson quarterback out of Marana High School named Trenton Bourget. And his family bought up a block of seats in the Zona Zoo. So there was literally this, because of course it's a holiday weekend, so the traditional Zona Zoo is not there because all the students are gone. So you had this pack of yellow shirts right in the middle of where the Zona Zoo was. Do you know if the Bourgets have bought up a block of tickets like that this time around?
Well, we don't have those tickets on sale at this moment. We might later in the week, depending on what students do. But those tickets are not available. So unless they sneak in there, they're not getting behind our bench this year.
What other promotions and activities do we have going on for Saturday?
Yeah, obviously Senior Day is our big one. Celebrating 14 of our seniors. Obviously a great moment for them. We want our fans there early. We're going to start the ceremony about 30 minutes prior to kickoff. And again, just a good opportunity to finish with momentum and send these guys out the right way. And I think that's kind of the big one for us. And then Territorial Cup. Nothing more needs to be said about that. You come, you show up, and that's why you play the game, is to play rivalries like this. And like I mentioned before, we've got two guys up for postseason awards. T-Mac, one of 3 finalists for the Blitnikoff, and Tyler Loop up for semifinals for the Lou Garza Awards. So hoping to get those guys to end their season well and continue their push for those awards, those prestigious awards.
Absolutely. And we've got, obviously, Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and then you guys have a little bit of a ticket sale going on Friday, because obviously we've got a number of home games every year that kind of take place during the break. So there are some tickets that are usually available for those basketball games at McHale. What's the plan to maybe get some tickets on sale to Arizona basketball on Friday?
Yeah, be on the lookout on Black Friday. We're going to have a 24-hour flash sale starting at 8 a.m. For basketball, for some basketball promotions. We're going to do about a 40% discount on our holiday plans. So be on the lookout for that. 24 hours only starting Friday morning at 8 a.m. And then we've got some other deals, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for football and for some single game men's basketball and women's basketball. So lots of good deals. If you want to see the Cats, this is a good time to lock in and buy those tickets now, and be at McHale and be at Arizona Stadium for this final football game.
Byron Evans will be the honorary captain this week, the 1986 Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time All-Pac-12, and, of course, played 9 years in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. So always looking forward to seeing Byron back in time. He's coached some high school football here in the state of Arizona as well, up in the Valley area. And so things that, even though we're kind of getting to the end of football season, what are some of the things that are kind of starting? I know you guys have got some of the fall sports that haven't started. Obviously, gymnastics kind of gets started at after the turn of the year. Folks, I'm sure, can still get tickets for those events this year as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, gymnastics starts up with their red and blue kind of scrimmage against themselves. That's December 14th, so that's kind of the official kickoff for their season. And then the regular season for them will begin in early January. And so we're excited to watch them take the floor again really soon. And then, yeah, basketball full swing, baseball and softball right around the corner, along with beach volleyball in the spring and track and all those. So, yeah, just really exciting times as football winds down here. Basketball is picking up, and we're in full crossover mode, as we call it, and we're excited to continue this exciting basketball season and having McHale packed. Do you get to go on any of those fancy road trips to see the Wildcats play outside of Tucson?
I'll try to make one at least this year. Maybe that's school up north. I'll go stay with my wife's family, and we'll cheer on the Cats up in Tempe.
Who was Buffalo's rival?
Oh man, we the MAC's a little weird. You have a lot. I feel like probably if I had to pick one, Bowling Green.
Okay. I have Bowling Greeners in my family, so.
Yeah, Bowling Green was probably our biggest rival. We didn't like playing them, and we played a few games in the snow to go to the title game, and we didn't come out on the winning end of those either time. But yeah, but yeah, they'd probably be our biggest one. I'm hoping the Bulls get to the Arizona Bowl possibly this year with that MAC.
Well, that's right. So. We've got that MAC relationship for sure. So that would be good. Yeah. I think I did see their name on the list of possible teams that are potentially in line for the MAC berth. So that would be fun for sure.
Yeah. If anybody's got Snoop Dogg's number, we'll hit him up and tell him to bring the Bulls out.
I do not have Snoop Dogg's number. Sorry, Tony. Can't help you on that. Hey, Tony, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Continued success. Looking for an exciting Saturday afternoon out at the stadium for this final football game of the season.
Yes, thank you, David. We'll see you all Saturday. Happy Thanksgiving.
There you go. You too, Tony. Tony Daniel, Arizona Athletics Associates Athletics Director, and looking forward to this Territorial Cup game coming up on Saturday. I know you're excited, Kelvin, for you're out here making videos and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, just trying to do my little part, man. We excited for our guys, man. We all been in these situations where we had up and down seasons, but had a chance to be ASU. So, they're excited about that opportunity for sure.
All right. We'll have much more coming up for you. And let's see. We've got Spotlight on a Cat still straight ahead. We're also going to give you your scouting report. Jared Latch from the Davidson Wildcats will talk to us. He is the broadcaster, the play-by-play guy. So we'll have both the play-by-play guys on the show today. Jared Latch's appearance brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. So looking forward to that. Wildcats and Wildcats. Arizona Davidson straight ahead at the Battle for Atlantis with tip-off probably going to be a little bit later than 5:30, but scheduled for 5:30, but an overtime game earlier, so we're a little behind schedule right now down at the Imperial Arena. I'm David Kelly, along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising UberTube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your T-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
It looks like the only sacrifice is my car, and maybe that white T-shirt covered in Chizo dust.
So, can you hand me that metal thingy?
You mean this wrench?
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
Eugene, I need my keys. I'm heading to Jack Furrier's.
Great choice, Doug. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the right choice for quality brake service and complete automotive care. You can stop in, call ahead, or make an appointment online at jackfurriers.com. Our 14 area locations are ready to help with fast, friendly service and great prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly
Chevrolet.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE EAGLE.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Come out to Dave & Buster's, the best place outside of the stadium to see the games this football season. Monday and Thursday, get all-you-can-eat wings with game card for $19.99. Sunday, get in on the chance to win a big game watch party at Dave & Buster's in front of the big screen, plus other big prizes and weekly winners. Join them now through October 22nd, all day, every day. They'll be offering $5 22-ounce drafts only at Dave & Buster's. Make Dave & Buster's your place to watch the games.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Efon, and J.W. Madden.
Into the paint, tried to shovel it up, ball knocked loose, stolen away. Here goes Love on the run. Wildcats with a 3-on-2. Love to the bucket, laid up and good.
That's the play for Caleb Love. In transition, first fast break points for Arizona tonight.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Caleb Love, just 5 of 26 from the field in the last 2 games. That's 19% shooting. Not what you want to see from the first team preseason All Big 12 selection. First team preseason AP All-American selection. You want to see better play from one Caleb Love, that is for sure. He is our spotlight. Caleb says he is trying to stay confident.
No, I just think, my teammates, my coaches support me each and every day. And, that never wavered. Good game, bad shot, good shot, turnover, assist. So I just, go out there and I'm going to, play with confidence, the utmost confidence. And not kind of put any pressure on myself to, make plays. Just go out there and hoop and have fun.
2 tough losses and then coming into this kind of an opportunity here at 3 games. How do you feel coming back?
We playing basketball in the Bahamas. I'm grateful for that. I know we are grateful to, be here and, step on the floor and, kind of redeem ourselves. And, we bringing our hard hats and, coming with the right mindset, the right mental state of mind, and we're ready to go out there and play.
I think I read something that's the ceiling is 26 feet here.
We practiced yesterday, and it felt great. Just playing and on the floor and getting shots up, and I didn't see a problem with it at all.
26 feet. Could you shoot that ball from one end to the other end in a 26-foot ceiling Salvation Army there, Calvin?
All right, so don't scrape. I think Salvation about 24, but I'm 22. But yeah, man, it'd be tough, man, to actually hit a full court shot. On that type of court, man. Being so low because it might hit the top.
And just for the record, the NCAA rule books, anytime it touches the ceiling or any of the stanchions that come down on any of those, it's out. That's out of bounds. So in a gym like that, guys, you can't just change the NCAA rule books and say, well, we got a 24, 26-foot ceiling. Some of these balls might hit the roof. Let's just keep that in play. Nah, that's out. So you got to factor that in.
Indeed. Well, one of the men who has still has a whole lot of confidence in Caleb Love is his teammate, KJ Lewis, who does not think Caleb is pressing at all.
No, Caleb's All-American for a reason. He has ultra confidence, and we have ultra confidence in him. Again, it's only the 4th game of the year. We knew, any team we're going to play is going to throw different things at them, and it's our job to help them, get open looks and to find a rhythm. And, so far we haven't been doing that for him. So, I feel like me and JB, we take kind of most of the blame for his frustration because we got to do a better job of getting him open off the ball.
Absolutely. More action from everybody else also could help Caleb. But one of the things I'm seeing as well, Kelvin, is the double teams that he's been getting. And how can he maybe be more effective in challenging those double teams?
Well, I think what ends up happening, man, when you get into double team, you already did your job. So move the ball. I think you move the ball. I don't think you have to try to attack and try to do too much in those situations. You're going to get plenty of opportunities to get your shots. I think you move the ball and trust your teammates to make a play in those situations. And they stop double teaming because they understand that you're a smart player. Actually, when you see them double teaming and you see guys that are trying to attack the double team, that's right what we want. That's exactly what we want. So, yeah, just move the ball, get out of it, show the defense, show the team, the defense, that you're going to make the right play, and then they'll guard you the right way, head up, one-on-one.
And just as important is the next guy's got to move the ball quick. So if Caleb's getting doubled every play down the court, Kelvin, that first pass followed by the second pass, if that first pass is to a guy who just kind of, lollygags and dribbles the ball a couple times, Kelvin, that gives the defense a chance to rotate back. If you've got a guy who commands doubles on every single play, that means there's, 3 guys guarding 4. Yeah. So someone's open out there. So move that first pass, quick second pass. That's how you get an easy bucket.
That's called a hockey assist.
Tommy Lloyd on Caleb Love's struggles.
We all know Caleb, it's a well-documented story, and he's my guy. He's not playing great right now. I just got to be, 100% honest, but it's my job to hang with him because, this isn't the NBA. There aren't trades. You're not releasing guys. I know this. Caleb's had so much success in college basketball. If we hang with him, it's the right thing to do. We'll be rewarded for that. So I'm going to hang with him and trust that, better days are coming.
Kelvin, real quick, my only issue with Caleb Love this year is 28-4. 28 attempted three-pointers, 4 attempted free throws. So now his career average over his 4 years is about 1 to 2. Takes about 1 free throw for every 2 3-pointers he takes. He's about at 1 to 7, 1 to 8 right now. You said in the very first segment of this pregame, the scouts are telling him what they need from him. They're telling him exactly what they're looking from him for that next level. More than anything, in order to win games against Duke, against Wisconsin, you need Caleb to be aggressive, get in the lane, cause problems. Have that second defender come up and help. That's an easy assist off. Yes. But settling for those 28 threes, especially if he's getting doubled in a lot of those situations, frustration, Kelvin. Frustration from not seeing the ball go in, wants to let it fly. 1 for 9 versus Duke from 3. Need to see him get and cause a little bit more havoc off the bounce.
And I was going to say that. That's what I like. I don't want to bring a screen. I want to attack the guy one-on-one and get into the paint and draw help to make that extra pass. And that's usually what you do. You try to get by guys and start creating for other guys. You're trying to touch the paint. You want 2 feet in that paint, actually, because especially with a guy like Caleb, it's going to draw people from everywhere. Now you're dropping off to the bigs, making the crevices of the world better players because now they're going to get easy dunks. And now you're passing it out for Jaden Bradley, who's shown that he can knock down a nice catch and shoot. Townsend as well. Those guys got to be helped out to be in nice shooting rhythm. So now you get in that paint, you can find those guys and make it easier for everybody.
And my favorite is if Caleb attacks a dribble, sees some resistance, and then kicks it to Jaden, who also attacks off the dribble, and so forth and so on. Kelvin, you're talking about keeping the defense on their heels the whole possession.
Caleb Love, the reigning, the final Pac-12 Player of the Year in the conference that the Wildcats formerly played in. And Tommy made a point to let everyone know, look, yes, Caleb is struggling, but our team struggles are not just about what's happening with Caleb Love.
Everyone has a standard. I'm not going to single out newcomers or returners. We all got to get better. I told our guys that today. Not one person in our locker room is pointing a finger at someone else. Everyone's looking internally first, and then secondly, looking at the group.
There you go. And again, you can indeed point to a lot of different areas. You've got some guys that are coming off the bench, like Anthony Del Orso, who who is struggling. You got Toby Awaka, who did not play well in the game against Duke, and it wasn't the Toby Awaka that we had seen. And so it's not just Caleb Love. It is a collection of the guys, all the guys on this team.
And the coaches say coaching as well.
Exactly.
Right? Coaches say coaching as well because as a coach, you're trying to figure out your lineup. You're trying to figure out what guys work well together and what part of your offense, whether it be the high-low or is it the guards penetrating? Because, we was trying to figure out it's going to be a 3-guard team. No, we want to go from inside out. So still trying to figure out all the nuances of how we're actually going to play and the people that we're going to put together. So some of that is, coaching as well.
But Tommy says there's no quit with this group.
I'm a realistic optimist. I understand, we may not be perfect. There may be flaws, but I'm also optimistic that if we address them, that we can come out on the other side. And the great thing about college basketball is we're 2-2 in a long season. We haven't even played a conference game yet. And I'm not trying to diminish these 2 losses at all. I mean, they hurt. They hurt a lot. And, it was a tough week for me. And this is a tough night for me in the program because we had a great opportunity. But, we're going to bounce back, and we're going to, give Davidson everything we got. And then if we're fortunate enough to find a way to get through that one, the next opponent, we're going to give everything we got.
Tommy Lloyd, that is your spotlight on a cat, talking about Caleb Love.
As today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, let's head on over to the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Hotel and Sportsbook and find out what this one looks like tonight. And it is a big line for your Arizona Wildcats, 15.5. They are favored in this one. And the over-under sitting at 154.5. Looks like I'm still on top of this whole thing at 5-3. J-Dub is 4-4. Kelvin is 3-5. Let's look at the line first. 15.5. I think I'm gonna go with that one for sure. I'm gonna take U of A and lay the 15.5 points. I think they win big over Davidson tonight. J.W. Madden.
It's right there. I think they probably win by about 15 or 16 points. So I'll go under. I'll say they win by just slightly less than that.
Oh, okay. So that's going to be Davidson plus.
Yes, I'll take the line. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Kelvin Efon.
Yeah, I think that Arizona comes out and plays well in this game, so I'm definitely taking them. And what was it, the 15?
15.5.
Yeah. Correct. I think Arizona will definitely beat them by 16 or more. And then let's go over. That's what you said, 100?
154.5.
154?
154.5.
Under. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's under. I'm not sure. Although Davidson has been a team so far now they haven't played. I don't know if they played another Power 4. I think this is
Bowling
their first
Green,
Power
East
4
Tennessee
game.
State, VMI, and William Peace, whatever that is. William Peace was their first
I think
opponent.
That's a Division III school.
Yeah, that is.
But they have put up some points. I mean, they've been scoring in the 80s in a lot of these games, but I don't know if they score like that. Well, they're not going to score like that today, and I don't know if they can get enough that gets this game above that 154.5 line. So I'm going to take the under on that as well.
Yeah, not to get too far ahead with Keys, but I did do some research, and Davidson scores almost all their points in the paint, and they don't have a lot of size. So going up against the size of Arizona is going to be a different situation. So, yeah, I think slightly under. I think Arizona holds them far below their 84-point average, so under.
All right, so everybody is taking the under on this game of 154.5. Kelvin and I are going to lay the points and take Arizona at 15.5, and JW Madden is going to take Davidson and grab those 15.5 points.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, on your Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyer scoreboard, the third game of the day down at Atlantis happening right now. It's nearing the conclusion of the first half. About a little over 5 minutes to go, and it is Providence on top of Oklahoma, 29-26. Both these teams are undefeated on the season. Providence at 5-0, Oklahoma coming in at 4-0 on the season. And so the winner of this game will play the winner of the Arizona versus Davidson game, and the loser of this game will play the loser of the Arizona Davidson game. If you weren't with us earlier, some of the other scores, India, actually a couple of upsets in the first two games. I don't know if that bodes well
right
for the Wildcats, but the other two ranked teams in this tournament both lost.
Funky
Gonzaga
stuff happens
in Indiana.
Funky stuff happens when you're playing in the ballroom and you've been on a slide the day before.
Brody said we were on vacation.
I heard what Brody said. I was like, you can't have that mindset. You have that mindset that you're on vacation. It's going to be a problem.
Oh, man. I'll tell you, they had the water slide. I think they had, there was the big water slide where Bodie said he went down, but I also saw some of the guys on something that looked a little bit less frightening, where they were on like water tubes too. So that probably would have been the one I was on, because there's no way I'm going 60-foot drop. Hell to the no. I know Kelvin ain't doing that.
No. That's zero chance.
No, thank you, sirree. Like I said, I'd find a way to twist up my leg and come back with one less leg or something of that nature. So
I like that.
Nothing for me. But good win for Louisville earlier. Again, that's a program that's trying to refine their glory. They've had some down years. New coaching staff.
Yeah, so was Indiana. Same story on the other side of that loss. Indiana's trying to do the same thing, DK.
True. Chucky Hepburn had 16 points. Noah Waterman had 16 points for the Louisville Cardinals in their win over the Hoosiers. Again, Umar, 11 points. They were led by Malik Renaud, who had 21. Only 3 points from Miles Rice, the sharpshooter out of Washington State. He only went 1 for 11 from the floor in that game today. And again, this was one of the things for Indiana. They had that big transfer class. I think they finished number 1, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of the transfers. They also brought in Cannon Carlisle, and he didn't score in this game.
Paid a lot
today.
of money. Paid a lot of money for those guys.
Cannon Carlisle and Miles Rice combined to go 1 for 13 and scored 3 points in this game. So transfers don't always work out early.
Yeah, Carlisle only played 14 minutes in that game and had 4 turnovers and 3 fouls. So that's why he only played 14 minutes in that game.
There you go. All right, Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We've got 1 hour left to go with you before we send it down to Brody and Ryan and get you set for Arizona basketball today against Davidson. Scheduled tip-off at 5:30, but they're running a little bit behind, so it looks like we might be a little bit closer to 5:45 or after getting this game started today down in Paradise Island. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, along with Kelvin Efon and JW Mad. My name is David Kelly. Thanks for joining us. Much more straight ahead. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's November and the weather is cooling down. Now is the time to have your furnace serviced to ensure that it's operating safe and efficient. We also have a $79 garbage disposal service. And check out our monthly plumbing specials on our website. Call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing for all your plumbing and heating needs at 520-492-0748 or picturerockschooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE Eagle.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of Arizona basketball. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live press conferences. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Previs turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Moves in, shot blocked by Ballo and grabbed out of the air by Ramey. Cats will run it the other way. Ramey lead ahead for Ballo, lay it up and good. Throw it down for Ballo, spin move, fights his way inside, pump, and slams it home over Washington. Boswell waits for a screen from Ballo, gets around it to the right, throw out for Umar, who slams it home.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Umar Ballo. His Indiana Hoosiers lost today. We were kind of looking. In fact, we did this. I put this out there. And if you haven't had a chance, it's still active. Question of the day today, which we normally do on our afternoon show. Who would you rather see Arizona Wildcats play in the Battle for Atlantis championship game. Now, that's obviously, you can't play Indiana in the championship game now. I do believe we might still be able to play them if we lose on the other side of the bracket. Gonzaga has also lost, so you can't play them in the championship game now. And West Virginia won, as well as Louisville won. So the question was, which one of those 4 teams did you want to see Arizona face in the Big 12, or the Battle for Atlantis, I should say, championship game?
Big Dog Mowers championship game.
The big bad boy.
Bad boy Mowers championship game.
What you going to do? Bad boy Mowers, championship game. So the voting so far, and we left this open for another day or two because there's obviously anything can happen. 56% of the folks, guys, said that they want to see Gonzaga. They want to see that Mark Few, Tommy Lloyd matchup. A little surprising. 56-31, Mark Few and Gonzaga over Indiana and Ballo. Surprised at all by that?
I just think fans want to get out of the way, Kelvin.
Get it out of the way?
Well, I think, on that one, I'm going to agree with the fans because I think they wanted the better. Nothing against Indiana, but I think Gonzaga's the better team, the better program right now.
After what happened versus the Blue Devils, after what happened in Madison, Wisconsin, Kelvin, I couldn't agree more. As far as personally, I'd rather see the best team possible and the highest ranked team possible. I think a lot of fans, because guess what? Remember, the Zags in Arizona had a home and home. They were supposed to play in Tommy's first season. They canceled. They squashed all that. Said, no, we don't want to play against our brothers. There's too many interconnected. There's too many heartstrings. Right, is what Coach Lloyd talked about. It's not just the 2 coaches. It's the entire families. They're all best friends, right? And that's been the reason why he said. But in a tournament like this, you're gonna see those teams sometimes. NCAA tournament, preseason tournaments, doesn't matter, home and home. So I think a lot of fans just want to see Mark Few and Tommy Lloyd fight against each other, but. I'm with Kelvin. You got to play the best team possible.
There you go. So there were no votes for Louisville in this poll, and just a few votes. In fact, 12%, 13% for the new Big 12 foe, West Virginia. So head on over to our Twitter account right now at Wildcats1290, and you can vote in our poll. Who would you like to see the Wildcats face in the championship game? Again, it might be the consolation championship if the Wildcats continue to struggle. They could still play Indiana or Gonzaga in the consolation championship game on the other side. They just can't play them in the championship game, which is where we want to be on Friday. Okay, so Umar Ballo, Tommy Lloyd was asked about Umar Ballo at the press conference for the Arizona Wildcats yesterday, and he, in fact, talked about it. And really, well, let's start there. He was asked about the prospect of playing either Mark Few, his old boss, or Umar Ballo, his former player. Here's what Tommy had to say about all of that.
Well, we tried getting out of the tournament numerous times. We just couldn't get out. No, hey, we know that. Our paths are going to cross eventually. And I don't think it's something that we're, anybody necessarily wants to play to get something up on the other guy. It's nothing like that. But when you have 2 great programs, eventually they're going to cross paths. And so, obviously, there's, no potential matchup with the Zags until the 3rd day. So, I'm not even there yet. So I might give you a different answer if we end up playing. The Umar situation is, it's awesome. There's so many things have changed in college basketball recently. That is with transferring and the COVID eligibility, that is just, some players have gotten long in the tooth, and Umar's one of them. And, for him to, come with us down to Arizona when we first started, and, when he was trying to rebuild his career and help that team 3 years in a row the way he did, and he was a 2-time all-conference player, which was awesome. Was a lot. And, Umar and I have a special relationship, and we always will. I think we've both given each other a little space, with him on his journey and me, with this new team. And, but Umar and I, we met and we talked about, what was going to happen. And, he said it to me. He said, it's not fair, that a guy like me gets 6 years in college and a guy like Mo Crevis gets 4. And, So obviously I want to take advantage of that, but I don't want to be in Mo's way either, and so we kind of settled in on that. It was a great grounds, and he obviously had some great opportunities with other programs, and he took full advantage of them. And I was 100% supportive of him, and I'm 100% proud of him as a man that he was able to see a good player underneath him who he thought deserved a chance to take the next step in a great program. So that's how it happened. There was nothing more to it. I'm rooting for Big O every day. I saw that he switched his free throw to left hand, and I'm like, maybe I was missing something the last few years. But I'm excited for him and his journey, and it looks like he's off to a good start.
Sorry, Coach. Zach Osborne from the Indianapolis Star. I cover IU. I was going to kind of follow up on that and just ask you, forgive me, it's kind of open-ended, but your journey with Umar and how you've seen him embrace, being somebody who wanted the responsibility of being a big player for a major program, wanted to be on those stages, wanted to be on the floor in big moments for a really good team. Obviously, Indiana expecting a lot of that from him this season. Just how did he maybe kind of come to embrace wanting to be a guy that was in those moments and on those stages?
Well, he's already been that guy. He did it at a program like Arizona for the last 3 years, and he did it 2 years as a starter. I mean, so to me, like, I just think that's who he is. I don't think he was looking for a bigger stage. I mean, obviously in Indianapolis, Indiana's a bigger stage than Arizona. So to you guys, it may be like that, but in Arizona, we got a pretty big stage too. So I don't see anything like that.
Similar stages, the idea of Arizona.
Okay, now we're similar stages. That's fine. Okay. Listen, he's an awesome kid, and there was literally nothing personal. He saw somebody behind him that he didn't want to go because he knew. Like, let's talk reality here. If Umar came back, Mo Krivas might not be at Arizona now, and Umar didn't want to put him in a position where he had to transfer. So for a dude to do that for a younger guy, that tells you what kind of guy you're dealing with. He's an effing stud. So that's all I got to say about that. I mean, I don't know what else great I can say about it. I love that kid.
An effing stud, he calls Umar Ballo there. Tommy did not take, he took little exception to the thought process that Umar was leaving Arizona for a bigger program in Indiana. Don't tell Tommy Lloyd that Indiana is a bigger program than the University of Arizona. It is, Kelvin, it is a dicey situation when you talk about the fact, obviously, you've got the COVID kids, and obviously Umar was a COVID kid who got extra time in college, and now you've got the kids that are coming in who are back kind of on the regular format, and coaches are going to be dealing with this kind of overcrowdedness on their rosters for at least this season and maybe a little bit even in the next season.
Yeah, man, tough decisions to make in those situations because do you keep the young guy that could help you 2-3 more years, or do you keep the older guy who you pretty much know who he is? Right? I mean, as the NBA people circles usually say, right? So I think that, it's a lot of those tough calls are going on in a lot of places. And if you have a kid with the type of character of a Umar, now I told you in the break, I don't know if I would have been able to do that, but, I don't know many guys that would have been able to, see that. I'll go back. I remember when Bibby was coming, and I was trying to figure out every way in my mind to be like, ain't no way he gonna take my spot, or I'm gonna give him no playing time. That's just that's the competitor's mind frame. So I wouldn't move out the way for anybody, but I understand the mindset, the extra year, and the opportunity to go make some real money.
Right.
I think
like $3 million, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Because I think at the end of the day, that's really what it had to be. Because think about it. If he didn't have an opportunity to leave and go somewhere else, what would the situation be? He just would have left school, and I mean, with the extra year to still be able to play, and been like, I'm just going to let Krivas have it.
See, that's the big factor is that he was the number one ranked guy on the transfer portal market. So you're talking about a guy who's established, a guy who's a double-double machine. Yeah. Bring that kind of guy into your system. Maybe you got a couple of really good guards, but your post play is lacking. You bring Umar Ballo into a system like that for 1 year, Kelvin, that's the recipe for success. Yeah. As far as what Umar said, I mean, he said, it's unfair, I get 6 years, Krivas gets 4. And, for all intents and purposes, he's been pre-practiced against Krivas for what, like 18 months? He knows what that kid can bring. So, obviously, Umar knew that Krivas was coming.
Yeah, it's gonna steal some minutes.
Yeah,
Or
Krivas
steal some minutes. So
or Krivas
if I
was
go
going
to
to
this
leave.
other place and get paid. So I understand on all sides for sure.
All right, this is the Battle for Atlantis happening down in the Bahamas, Paradise Island, which is kind of the island side of Nassau. There are a number of different tournaments happening in the islands during this time of the year. As we heard from Brody, a great week to go down and take the family down and see some college basketball. There's another event that goes on down there, and I believe that this event actually took place last week. It's called Baha Mar. And this is at another one of the fabulous hotels, but one that's more on inside of Nassau versus on the island side, on the beach side. And this is another hotel that in which they play inside a ballroom, and it's actually one where Trey Townsend got to play in. He got to play in this tournament, the Baha Mar tournament, a few years ago with Oakland, and he spoke about his first trip down to Nassau this week. I'll grab that one over here. Just make me.
I wish I had a crystal ball. I mean, like it's so many changes, and it's hard to understand what's right and what's wrong. I'm glad it's going in the direction where the players are part of it now. But it's just there's so many people grabbing at so many things, and you know what I want to do? I want to play basketball tomorrow. I just want to play basketball tomorrow. I want to be in a tournament. I know one team's going to win a championship this week, and I want to compete for that. Anything more than that is it's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, So I mean, I know a little bit these tournaments you're talking about. Of course, we had phone calls. I just don't know what's real or not real. That's where I'm at. So, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, listen, I think that what we're finding is what's hard is, just these tournaments, we play 3 games in 3 days. It takes a lot out of your team, and, what the challenging thing is the other time of year you do that is when the conference tournament, and so you have these 2 times of the years and you put a lot of stress on your team and, ultimately, the ultimate ways I think you're going to probably be judged is your regular season, conference stuff and the NCAA tournament. And then the conference tournament too is a big deal, but like, it just puts a lot of stress on your team, you know what I mean? And preparing them, but hey, it is what it is. And we've been doing it for a lot of years. And, so I am interested to see if some small changes start taking place in the next couple of years with these, MTE tournaments.
All right, so now what Tommy Lloyd was talking about there was something a little bit different, and we'll kind of shift it to what he was talking about there. He was talking about the guys, these what has kind of been born, or some of these NIL tournaments.
Yes.
And that there's this huge NIL tournament that's going on this week in Las Vegas. It's called the Players Era Festival, and so there's a number of teams, Alabama, Creighton, Houston. In fact, I believe Creighton was supposed to play in the Battle for Atlantis, but they backed out to go play in this NIL event instead. And again, it's the first of its area where it's marketed itself as a $1 million payout to all of the participating schools. So something very different than what we've seen before in terms of these preseason tournaments.
Yeah, man, I like the idea. Especially I'm sure the player's gonna get a cut of that somewhere in there. Yeah, so that's cool. Any revenue what these guys can earn, and I think it makes the games even more interesting and more fun.
Absolutely. So that's happening. I think that gets going. Yeah, I got going yesterday, today, and then the final games. There's Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday event at the MGM Garden Arena in Las Vegas, the first NIL-driven players tournament. And so I'm interested to follow up with Tommy to kind of find out what he would like to see done differently with some of these MTE events. And I think maybe one of the things is maybe a setup like this event here, where you're not necessarily playing 3 games in 3 days. You're playing back-to-back days, and then you get a couple of days off before the third day of that tournament. So you're not necessarily having to go out there and run three consecutive days in a row with your team. All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, and we are getting you set for the Wildcats and the Davidson Wildcats. Let's get another break in here. When we come back, we're going to go inside our scouting report with Jared Latch from Davidson. He calls the games for the Wildcats. We'll find out all about this team Arizona is playing tonight. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thona Autumn Nation.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE EAGLE.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising Uber Tube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your t-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
It looks like the only sacrifice is my car, and maybe that white t-shirt covered in Chizo dust.
So, can you hand me that metal thingy?
You mean this wrench?
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
Eugene, I need my keys. I'm heading to Jack Furrier's.
Great choice, Doug. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the right choice for quality brake service and complete automotive care. You can stop in, call ahead, or make an appointment online at jackfurriers.com. Our 14 area locations are ready to help with fast, friendly service and great prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. Time now for our look at today's Wildcat opponent. The scouting report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there.
All right, let's go back down to Paradise and hear from the man that's going to call this game today for the other Wildcats from Davidson in North Carolina. His name is Jared Latch. He is the voice of Davidson basketball. It's a new coaching staff here in their second year with the program and off to a pretty good start at 4-0. Jared, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. What's kind of been behind this early, fast start in which we've seen some pretty high-scoring games from Davidson?
Well, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. It is a great start for this 4-0 Davidson Wildcat team, and it's been a little bit of everything. The last couple of games we have seen the offense clicking at a pretty efficient rate. They had their most three-pointers last Friday against VMI, 13 from the outside. It was a close win against East Tennessee State as well before that. I think a Buccaneers team that's going to be pretty good in the Southern Conference, and a road win at Bowling Green prior to that. So as you guys know, any win on the road is good, but I think it's been the offensive efficiency that we've seen so far, and really the reinstallation of the outside threat, which the Wildcats of Davidson have struggled with the last couple of seasons.
Matt McKillop, I mentioned it's actually in his third season at Davidson, a graduate of the program, played there in the early part of this century. What's been cool about having a guy like him back to run the program, and what's kind of been his style as a head coach?
Well, it's been an interesting transition because Matt took over for his father, Bob, who had been at Davidson for 33 years, had the Stef Curry years and a lot of success getting to the NCAA tournament. Matt played for his dad. His other brother, Brendan, played there as well. So it's really been a tradition here with the McKillops over the last 36 years and counting. But what they were able to do in the transition was keep a lot of the culture intact. They also kept the motion offense, the principles of the motion offense, lots of cuts and screens. And as I mentioned a moment ago, a pivotal part of that is outside shooting, which Davidson has always been known for its volume three-point shooting. And for the last couple of years, it had been a hiatus from that part of the game. So not much has changed in terms of the way they play. I think that they're getting some more athletic players the last couple of years, but the principles for the offense have not changed.
Was that kind of maybe always the plan, was that Matt would eventually take over the program?
It was. He was the associate head coach for a number of years under his father on that staff, and it was always part of the plan. It was just, a matter of when it was going to happen. And to me, being alongside Bob McKillop for about his final 8 seasons, I didn't think it was going to be time. You knew it was getting close. So it made sense when it happened, and Matt, of all people, was going to be ready to roll.
Chatting with Jared Latch. He is the play-by-play man for the Davidson College basketball team. It is the Wildcats and the Wildcats coming up with tip-off here shortly at around 5:30 Tucson time. And again, we mentioned obviously you guys off to a 4-0 start, and you've had some close wins this year. Beating Bowling Green, you mentioned, by 6, Eastern Tennessee by 6, and then a 7-point win over VMI. And these were games that you guys didn't necessarily win last year. Why do you think early on Davidson has been better in some of these tight games?
Well, I think there's been a lot of continuity. Landscape of college basketball, it's hit and miss with transfers and roster shuffling that occurs from one year to the next. Davidson returned 4 starters to this team, and they've had some program guys. Reed Bailey, one in particular, that's a junior this year. Connor Kuchera is in his 5th year and his 3rd for Davidson. I think that experience on the court is the biggest reason why. Because you look back to last season, you mentioned the challenges that they had. 15 games last year were decided by 5 points or less, and Davidson was 4-11 in those basketball games. So it was a struggle in close games. They were right there on the doorstep, and they couldn't get over the hill or the hump, however you want to put it. But this year, I think that experience is the biggest factor as to why they've been in close games, and so far so good.
And you mentioned that game against VMI, 13 made threes in that game. Reed Bailey finished with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists in that contest. Obviously, a big man that can do that can also maybe move away from the basket and make some shots. What kind of player are we going to see from Reed Bailey out of Harvard, Massachusetts?
Yeah, Reed Bailey is a guy that can jump out of the gym. Very athletic. They play through him quite often in the confines of the offense. You mentioned his ability to step outside and shoot. He hasn't had to do that so far this year, but he can draw some of the bigs away from the basket. His best thing has been inside right now, and his ability to get up and score around the basket. But you get a little bit of everything from him as his line has reflected over the first handful of games.
Bobby Durkin, sophomore, 6'7", out of Darien, Illinois. He had 19 points in that game, made 5 threes. Is he the primary three-point guy?
He has been. And Bobby's a guy last year got off to a great start. Struggled a little bit throughout the course of his freshman year because teams started to scout to stop him. So it was all part of the maturation process for him and figuring out how to get through that type of storm. And this year, Bobby's off to a fantastic start. And you mentioned the 5 3-pointers against VMI. He had 17 points in that first half, and he's shooting at 54% from the outside, 13 to 24. So he has been the guy from the outside to start this year.
And, obviously the Wildcats, Arizona Wildcats are a team that have a very large international flavor. Kind of looks like kind of the same thing with Davidson. I see players from England and New Zealand and Italy and Latvia on the team. Is that kind of been a staple of the McKillop regimes, is that they like to try to go out and find good international players?
It definitely has been. It started with Bob McKillop years ago, building sort of an international pipeline. He was very active overseas and coaching clinics, and a lot of his connections and network was there. So they have had great success. They've been a very international and diverse program over the last several years, and it has been a staple of the McKillop era for Davidson basketball.
We are chatting with Jared Latch. He is the voice of the Davidson Wildcats and Arizona Wildcats coming up to open the battle for Atlantis. Give us a sense of the of kind of the atmosphere down there in Paradise today.
Well, you can't really beat it. 80 degrees is the temperature listed for all week long, and we had an opportunity with the team today. Alumni from a long ways back hosted the team at the Nassau Sailing Club, so we were able to go there for a brunch this afternoon, and the guys are just enjoying the experience. I know a big thing for Matt McKillop, it's going to be business as usual with play on the court, but a lot of families are here, so it's just a really good start to the week, and we're hoping that the basketball will be just as good.
You mentioned Connor Couture earlier and when we were talking as well. He's one of 2 team captains on this team. What has kind of made him a guy that has been a focus and an important part of this program during his time there?
Yeah, Connor has a motor that is hard to replicate on this team. He's a guy that gives you 100% day in and day out, especially at practice. He's a good leader. He's a guy that tries to stay in a neutral position as far as not getting too up or too down. Very crafty with his play on the court, can use both hands, and it's something special to watch when you see him do it. And he's, again, an experienced guy in year number 5 for the Wildcats.
I always wonder, obviously maybe mid-majors like Davidson, how the schedule kind of comes together. This appears to be the only instance where you guys could potentially play Power 4 teams, Arizona, with maybe a potential game lined up next with potentially in Oklahoma, possibly. Does Matt usually try to schedule, you guys against more Power 4s? What's kind of usually his focus and how he puts together his non-conference schedule?
Well, I think right now, in terms of how they would have liked to see the schedule set up, this is pretty good for them with these 3 core games in Atlantis and building around it. They did open the year with a Division III team. It's hard to get teams to come to Davidson and play in that opening game. And then the 2 road games at Bowling Green and Temple, they'd love to play more Power 4 teams, but they knew this year with the field the way it is here at Atlantis that was the core of what they were trying to build around. And so they feel pretty good about it. They also had some time in between games early on to work on themselves to get to this point with these 3 games in 3 days.
You mentioned obviously early on that Bob McCulloch, the longtime head coach there, and Stef Curry obviously played at Davidson. What's kind of all these years later? What's kind of the legacy of Stef Curry and his time there, and what that's done for Davidson and this program overall?
Well, there's still a buzz anytime you walk into Belk Arena. And to exit 30, ironically, exit 30, Stef's number 30, what he did for Davidson, putting them on the college basketball map. In the magical run in 2008, they were shot away from going to the Final Four to take on North Carolina. And just great teams. And Bob McCulloch, over the course of his 33 years, too, for a mid-major program, every class under him had an opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. One thing he used to say, he would have rather been a shining star than a shooting star, but he built something really special. I mean, it's a school of under 2,000 students as far as enrollment, and one of the highest academic colleges in the country. And you wouldn't suspect you'd be able to do that at Davidson, but that's what he was able to build. And Stef Curry was the one that just put them back on the map. You had to go back to the late 60s and Lefty Driesell teams that were routinely in the Elite Eight. And we know what type of coach Lefty was. Legacy at Davidson, Stef Curry was that newest arrival almost in the new era of Davidson basketball.
We talked about some of the obviously main guys on this roster. Who's maybe that one maybe guy we haven't mentioned who could be a key in a Davidson win today over Arizona?
I think Roberts Blooms is a freshman out of Riga, Latvia, 6'4", 200 pounds. His father was a highly successful player overseas for a number of years, has a really high basketball IQ. He can shoot it. He can defend. He has gotten more and more minutes, and it's just, he's earned more playing time, and he's one of those young guys that I think could be an X factor. He plays really hard, and he plays smart, so he could certainly be an X factor in the game later tonight.
And I also saw you guys got Joe Hurlbert, the transfer from Colorado. How did that come together for Davidson?
That was a good fit. Looking at Joe, a former top 100 prospect, spent some time out there, and he is another guy, because of his sheer height, that hasn't seen, an abundance of playing time early on because Davidson has been able to play some smaller lineups. We know that won't be the case against Arizona. So he saw this as a good fit and sort of a fresh start for him in a program and a tight-knit community like Davidson, where he thought, hey, this is where I want to continue. Things didn't really get off the ground as he had planned when he was with the Buffaloes.
All right, it is Arizona against Davidson. Wildcats taking on Wildcats coming up shortly from Paradise in Nassau, the Bahamas. Hey, Jared, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us and bring us up to speed on all things Davidson basketball.
Hey, not a problem. Enjoyed it.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's November and the weather is cooling down. Now is the time to have your furnace serviced to ensure that it's operating safe and efficient. We also have a $79 garbage disposal service. And check out our monthly plumbing specials on our website. Call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing for all your plumbing and heating needs at 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rocking K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Make Dave & Buster's a part of your weekly rituals. Military Monday, get extra gameplay on your card. Tuesday night is Trivia Night with great prizes. Thursday is extra credit with student discounts on gameplay after 9 p.m. Stop in Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials. Want more? Rewards members will get an extra 100 chips with the purchase of 100 chips and Sunday sips for hospitality workers. Full and quick service restaurants, hotels, and amusement parks. Discounted beverages and apps after 9 p.m. only at Dave & Buster's.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Why the pieces aren't fitting together as well as...
Who is today's Pest of the Game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right, who is going to be that Davidson Wildcat who gets underneath the Arizona Wildcats skin today? Davidson has not lost a game yet this season. 4-0 with wins over William Peace, Bowling Green, East Tennessee State, and the Virginia Military Institute as they come in to take on the Arizona Wildcats in the opener for the two teams at the Battle for Atlantis. Kelvin, looking up and down this lineup, who is that guy that might cause the Wildcats some issues today?
Well, these guys are a lot similar guys, on their team. So I'm gonna go out on the limb and I'm gonna go with Hunter Adams.
Hunter Adams.
Yeah, the guy off the bench.
Hunter Adam. He's a 6'7", 220-pound guard out of New Zealand, so one of their international players. Redshirt sophomore. Had 32 games off the bench last year. There you go. I'm going to go with another bench guy. I'm going to go with the guy that our friend Jared Latch just talked about. And that's the freshman Roberts Bloom. How about that? We got Hunter Adam with no S We got Roberts Blooms with an S. He is a freshman guard, 6'4", 200-pounder out of Riga, Latavia. And he had 11 points, season high 11 points in the game against Bowling Green. He averages 21 minutes off the bench, 8 points, pretty good numbers off the bench for 21 minutes per. And he's a pretty good foul shooter. Doesn't necessarily shoot the ball well from the field, just 32%, but 86% from the line. So if he's aggressive tonight and he can get himself to the line, he could be a guy we have to worry about. J-Dub.
I think it's real simple. The guy who takes the most threes. That's the problem. Bobby Durkin. That's your guy right there. He's the pest.
Bobby Durkin, 6'7".
It's same old story. Like a guy who shoots a lot of threes, Kelvin, guy gets hot, got to worry about that guy. Everybody else gets easy looks. It's whoever on a team that has less maybe athletic guys, maybe guys who weren't recruited at the highest level of Division I college. Shooting is the great equalizer. So the dude who's going to take the most threes, that's the guy you got to worry about.
There you go. He had a team best 59 three-point shots made last season for this Davidson ball club. So Bobby Durkin, Hunter Adam, and Roberts Blooms could be the three guys that get underneath the Wildcats' skin today.
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com.
Wildcats and the Davidson Wildcats coming up. Let's update you on what's happening there. I believe the other game has gone final. The game ahead of ours today, which was between Providence and Oklahoma. And actually, they are still playing. Okay, we'll update our scoreboard here. Our Goldberg and Osborne's scoreboard, and Oklahoma, there's still 12 minutes to go, actually, so still a lot of time to go in this game. 12 minutes to go in this game. 49-46, Oklahoma is leading Providence. The Sooners trying to remain unbeaten
the standard
on the season.
Has always been 30 minutes, right, in between these kind of games. So
that's what it looks like. All right, Carter Bryant played a pretty good game off the bench for the Arizona Wildcats in the contest against Duke. Got off to a little bit of a slow start shooting the ball, but found his way in the second half of that game.
Feed it high for Bradley. Out to Bryant. Carter for three, and he's got it. Carter Bryant, the freshman.
Extended minutes for Carter. His size, his IQ, and now his shot making will keep him on the floor.
Krivas turns there, double team. Out top, Bradley fires it left corner. Carter Bryant for three, it's good.
Carter Bryant needs to be on the floor. His ability to make shots and his size critical.
There you go from Ryan Hansen. Carter Bryant needs to be on the floor. Had 12 points against Old Dominion, 2 for 4 from behind the three-point arc in that game against Duke. Gives you some length out there. Is he ready for a bigger role, young Carter Bryant?
Yeah, man.
I believe I just fit in wherever coach feels that I'm needed, whatever my role needs to be going into the game, whether he needs me to make shots tonight, whether he needs me to constantly crash offensive glass, whether he needs me to be a playmaker, guard the best player on the floor. I feel like I'm capable of doing all those things, and I feel like my teammates do a great job of preparing me for that.
I was going to say, yeah, man, because number one, his defensive intensity and his length on the defensive end, I thought he did a great job versus Cooper Flagg. He had the hustle, he had the determination, and he understood the assignment. And then to be able to catch and shoot, a lot of these guys are trying to turn into catch and shoot guys. He's a guy that already has that in his bag.
Tommy Lloyd, doesn't want to put too much on the freshman just yet.
I just want to keep getting these experiences. I think Carter's had a good week of practice. I just want to see him get these experiences so, you can kind of tell someone how you think it's going to be. But there's no better teaching tool than personal experience. And I think he's getting the experiences he needs. And I think, let's give Carter a little time. Give him a little time and a little space. And I think in a few weeks, or a month, I think we'll really start to see, Carter growing as a player. And that's my outlook. Now, hey, if he plays well Friday, listen, he's going to get opportunities. So, it's not like he's not going to play. We're not putting him on ice. But I just think with somebody, like a young player like Carter, you just have to give him a little bit of space and kind of let him figure it out a little bit, and we'll help him with that.
And I was going to say, 20 minutes in the last game versus Duke, 0 turnovers.
Yeah, there you go.
0 turnovers. 2 assists, but 0 turnovers,
and
more importantly.
He only has 2 turnovers in the first 4 games for this team. 67 minutes, just 2 turnovers, and averaging 17 minutes so far for his career, shooting 47% from the floor, 4 of 13 from 3. Like to see that improve a little bit. 2 rebounds and 6 points per game, but he also has 5 steals in the first 4 games. So again, you talk about the defensive end of the floor, 5 assists as well for Carter Bryant early on. So maybe a larger role indeed for that young man. All right, let's give you our keys to the game tonight.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
I have one major key. Get Caleb Love involved. I don't care how you got to do it. Get Caleb Love involved in the offense early in an aggressive manner. I don't know if you have to just run a play for him to drive the ball in the basket like 4 times in a row. That's what I want to see. I want to see an aggressive Caleb Love getting easier baskets, maybe even getting to the line a little bit more, get himself going offensively, because we all know that this team has got to have an aggressive Caleb Love, and that's not just aggressively shooting from distance. It's aggressively shooting from inside the arc and finding easy baskets in transition for this team. So that's my number one thing, I think, for this ball game tonight is and I think the opportunity is there to get some feel-good baskets for that young man. And the other thing, I think, when you look at a team like Davidson, and we talk about this, and J-Dub just brought it up. I mean, you don't want to allow them to get hot from outside. So just defend the perimeter is going to be the other important aspect, I think, of this game for me.
I was going to say make multiple efforts on the defensive end to not allow those 3-pointers. So you're going to have to guard the whole time until you get the rebound and get possession. So I think that's going to be very important. Don't lose guys. Don't over-double and give guys opportunities to get going from the outside. Also feel like, as you said, Caleb Love going, I would love to see the guys, all 3 guards, get in the paint, and let's see if we can get the bigs going. If we can drop it off to some of the bigs and get them some easy layups by penetrating and pulling help to them, bigs to block their shots, and drop it off to our bigs and maybe get a couple dunks in there. And also, you're on the road. Sometimes you say make sure you don't underestimate the opponent. I think the 2 losses is going to help with that. I don't think they're going to estimate the opponent, but continue to value the basketball. I think which team take care of the ball coming off the trip, whoever take care of the ball is going to have a better chance of winning this game.
I think the most important thing is, number one, you got to attack the rim. I'd like to see at least 30-plus free throws from this team. That's got to be their identity moving forward. They have too many athletes on the perimeter especially, and then post presences in Krivas. Obviously, is the main guy you think of. Obviously, Henry Vesar can get down there, Awaka as well. Number 2, this Davidson team has taken twice as many 2-point attempts as 3-point attempts, guys. So we might think of this as a 3-point shooting program, but that's a team that's trying to establish paint touches and trying to get, and number 2, keep those guards out of the paint. Do your best to move your feet. The athleticism advantage for Arizona is going to be there. Do everything you can, guys, to keep those guys from driving, because drive and kick to open shooters will be a long night for Arizona if those guys get hot. That's the only way this goes sideways. And number 3, same kind of concept. You got to dominate the boards. This is a team that has a 6'9 guy, 6'10 guys there front line. Arizona will have size and athleticism advantages at every position. You got to dominate the boards and, establish that being Arizona's identity moving forward, because they've struggled on the glass versus these last couple of teams. You really need, with that length and size, to be able to do that. And those are my keys tonight versus the Davidson Wildcats.
All right. I just like to see a bounce-back game from Henry Vesar, who is, like Caleb Love, struggled these last two times out. Those are your keys for an Arizona victory over Davidson.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, let's give you your starting lineups for tonight's game.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
Jaden Bradley at one guard, 6'3", 200-pound junior out of Rochester, New York, averaging 16 points and 2 assists per contest. Caleb Love at a guard, 6'4", fifth-year senior out of St. Louis, Missouri, 10 points, but just 5 made field goals in his last 2 games. KJ Lewis, another guard, 6'4", sophomore out of El Paso, Texas. KJ averaging 12 points and 4 rebounds per contest. The man in the middle is Moteas Krivas, 7'2", sophomore out of Lithuania. And Moteas so far this season, 7 points to go along with 6 rebounds in 15 minutes per game. Trey Townsend at the forward spot, the transfer out of Oakland University, 6'6", fifth year, and he is averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds this season. Gentlemen, final thoughts.
I think this is a game that the guys need to, get that sour taste out of their mouth out the last couple games. A lot of people think just Caleb, but I think the whole squad needs it. Continue games under their belt so they can just get their rhythm down and understanding of how they're going to play together. So, hey, 2 early losses, no big deal. I don't believe. I think you get to learn from these, and the intensity of the practices just ramp up.
Yeah, I mean, effort has to be maxed out, because they're just coming off of 2 losses. And if you look no further than the 2 teams that played this morning in that building, both the favorites lost. So anything can happen when you're in a ballroom playing against maybe a lesser program than you're used to playing against. You think you might go in there, Kelvin, beat those guys by 20. That's a recipe for disaster. Come out and play as if you're playing against Duke. You got to max effort. There's always room for improvement, but always got to make sure that you follow the game plan and fight over every single screen, box out as hard as you can. Those kind of things is going to get it done tonight.
Arizona's been ranked in each of the last 61 AP Top 25 weekly polls. 4th longest active streak in the country. You lose tonight, that streak is over. That is going to wrap up Arizona Game Day, Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Appreciate all the folks that joined us. Derek Palmer was on the show, Brody Dryden, Jarrett Latch. For Kelvin Efon, for JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. Enjoyed the game, everybody. We'll talk to you afterward on the postgame show. Arizona and Davidson coming up next. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market.